kind of useful way of getting into this is to think about a metaphor. And the metaphor I'd use would be that life is a little bit like sailing in a boat. You can imagine that you have your boat, and it's a small boat. You've been taught how to sail it as you grew up, and one of the things that happened as you were growing up and learning how to sail is that they gave you this tool, and they said to you, "This is a bailer. If you get water in your boat, the thing to do is get rid of the water using this tool." You went, "Thanks very much." You put it in the cupboard, and off you went. And you were sailing your boat pretty effectively. Occasionally you'd get some, adversity would happen, some kind of water would get in your boat, and you would do what you knew how to do. You'd kind of get rid of it using the bailer, and it worked pretty well with these other waves that you encountered. Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah.
And at some point, about 5 years ago, these big waves started coming in your boat. Waves that are diarrhea, waves that are constipation and pain, waves that are emotions, feelings of fear of having an accident, feelings of shame about having this condition, feeling disbelieved. All these waves are kind of there in the bottom of your boat, and you've done the logical thing. You've got that bailer out and started to kind of bail, started to kind of try and get rid of this stuff. Does this fit with your experience?
Yeah. So far, yeah.
Okay. And you've tried a lot of different ways of bailing. You've told me about different things that are things you've done to try and get rid of this water. Lots of different forms and types of bailing. Maybe even you went to see Dr. Smith to see if they had a better bailer. Now here you're with me, looking to see, have I got a different way of bailing?
Yeah.
And as we've explored through the different ways in which you've been bailing, your sense is that, is there still water in this boat?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this, whilst you've been busy bailing, when did you last really kind of have a think about, where am I taking this boat? It's almost like you're so kind of down there trying to get rid of the water. When did you last look up and consider, where am I sailing this boat to?
So sort of where's my life headed kind of thing.
Like I would say this, like at the moment you're so focused on bailing, are you actually sailing the boat?
I guess not. Yeah.
And as we've together this morning looked at the bailer itself, like what if it was the case that this bailer was actually not what it appeared to be, and was something more like a sieve? Like what would be the if that was the case, what would be the first thing that you'd have to do?
Find a different bailer.
Find a different bailer. Okay. And you've tried a few different ones, haven't you?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Do you ever find one that works better?
Nope.
Okay.
So far.
And so here we are. What if our work was really about something very different? But what if our work was about getting a hand on the tiller, looking up from the water and looking out the front of the boat and saying, where is it that I want to go in my life? Where do I want to sail my boat?
But if the boat is full of water, how can I sail the boat if it's full of water?
Yeah, so it is worthwhile noticing how a passenger just popped up there with you and said to you something like, you can't sail this boat with water in it, you better keep bailing. If you give the control of what you do to that passenger there, what'll happen? What does your experience tell you what'll happen?
You know, I guess I'll be down in the water trying to get it out.
Yeah, and you know that. You know what that's like. This is what that's like. it's worthwhile noticing how persistent this part of your mind is that says that's the solution. That should be working. And yet if you give your life over to them, this is what happens. So if our work was really about something different, about being really useful to you by being very different, it would be about learning how to kind of get a hand on the tiller, looking up, having that sense, exploring that sense together about where is it that you want to take your life. And even if it's very, very slowly at first, and just bit by bit gradually, that you and I would make our work be about beginning to gradually turn your boat onto that heading, and even if you're moving very slowly at first, moving in the direction that you would choose. Now, if that's what our work would be about, and actually that what we got you doing was slowly moving towards things that you chose, and that you had the water in the boat with you, would you be willing to have some water in your boat if it got your boat moving? If we could get your boat moving?
Is that even possible?
It's worthwhile noticing, there's some doubt there. More
I'm sorry if I'm being skeptical, but I've tried so many things.
I would love you to be skeptical, but here's what I'd love you to do, would be to let your experience be the thing that helps you decide. Like your mind just gave you, is that even possible? Your mind tells you what should be working. Your experience tells you what's actually happening. Now, which of these are you going to trust?
I guess you have to go with experience.
Okay. So if our work was about this, and we wanted to get a hand on the tiller, a hand on the sail, what would be the first thing that we'd have to get you to do?
Just drop everything and just get my hand on the tiller and on the sail.
Stop doing the things that aren't working and start, even if it's slow at first, getting a direction and having this sense between the two of us about, well, where am I going? And we'll get to that. We will have that conversation. Let me ask you this, as we kind of walk through this analogy, this metaphor like this, what do you notice in your experience right now?
I'm getting that sense of hope again.
Okay.
And my mind is giving me, how am I going to fall flat on my face again?
Okay. So that's worth noticing too. There's another passage. It could be the same passenger that spoke before, or it could be a different one, but there's a passenger that just popped up saying something like, this could really be it, but careful, you might get disappointed here. Is it the same passenger as was talking before that said, don't stop bailing, or is this a different passenger?
I'd say different. It's more of a sort of a cautious.
Okay, be cautious.
Thought, yeah.
And I'm okay with it. Like, if that'd be fine. And like I said before, I'd want you to let your experience be the guide, rather than Mr. Cautious over here.
Well, but my experiences told me that whenever I get my hopes up,
Yeah.
I
They get dashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things we need to be really clear about with this is about what the outcome will be. Because we've already established that the outcome will likely not be a dry boat.
All right.
Now, if we're aiming for a dry boat, then yeah, I think probably I will disappoint you.
Okay.
So what will be the outcome?
Yeah, I think the boat moving.
So how will you know if the boat is moving, even if it's moving so slowly? How will you know it's moving in the direction that you would choose? What kind of things would you notice?
I don't know.
Okay. So even that question's quite tough.
Yeah. It's been 5 years.
Yeah. What are you feeling right now?
just wondering if there's still any hope for me.
Okay. Yeah, I can see with your experience that your mind would give you something like that. What do you think's happened here this morning?
I just felt like I got some time out. I got some perspective.
Okay.
But it's one it's not comfortable.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm really not enjoying this perspective of realizing how much my life has stopped.
Yeah.
How much I've tried to do things and they're not working. Yeah. It's not pleasant.
Yes, I get that.
But at the same time, there's there's an element of release in a way. There's it's like in a way that it's like I've been allowed to take a step back and sort of look back at what I've been doing.
Sure.
And in that sense, it's been helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, very frustrating.
Yeah.
In terms of trying to, as you keep saying, trying to figure out what's next.
Yeah. It's worthwhile noticing that you kind of want to go into what's next.
Yeah.
And we kind of spoke earlier about how that kind of rush to kind of get onto what's next has been part of this whole situation. I mean, I think it's worthwhile just kind of really re-emphasizing that you have done all the things you're meant to do. You've done all the logical things. And this is where that leads. What we're looking at exploring now is the illogical things in some ways, the kind of making room for, okay, this is how I feel. In the service of you living a fuller life with what you have.